One. This is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. And through victory, my chains are broken. This is the code of the Sith. So today we will talk a little bit about dark side of the Force, about Sith way, and so on. My name is Alexey Sharov. I am a front-end developer in Wrike, and today I would like to talk about Dart language, about how we use it, and probably what might be interested for you in Dart. But before we start, let's make a quick deal. So please don't think that I'm trying to convince you that Dart is the best language in the world. No, I'm just trying to make you interested and give you some brief description of the technology. Okay? Consider you guys need to create some kind of web application. Let it be single-page app, web app, client-side, single-page, and so on. What language would you use?
JavaScript.
Yeah, probably it's JavaScript, because JavaScript is client-side language. And Kotlin, okay. You're Jedi. Okay. And maybe some of you think about TypeScript because of Angular. Angular is a nice framework for single-page applications. So if you think about JavaScript or TypeScript, congratulations, you are Jedi. But what if I tell you that there is another way, the strong and reliable path that only true Sith follow to use the Dart language? Today we will talk about the Sith way. So probably many of you know about Dart, at least heard about it, but if not, I'll give you some brief introduction about Dart. The Dart itself was invented by Google 8 years ago, and initially it was positioned like JavaScript alternative. Actually, it is a client language, so it completely differs from JavaScript, but it can be compiled to JavaScript, and the code can be executed in any browser. But Dart is not only client-side language, it has its own virtual machine, so you can write command line utilities or even some backend server code. Yeah, I know that cases. Dart has rich SDK, and most of the packages are maintained by Google. So Dart itself usually shipped with a lot of packages, and if you need some packages for example, database, SQLite, Redux, Memorize, you can find it in Dart Package Manager. And since most of these packages are maintained by Google, the quality of these packages are usually high. Dart is strongly typed language, and if you not using a high level of optimization, the types will be checked even in runtime. And the last but not least, the Dart is fully supporting object-oriented concepts. Yeah. And the last point, Dart is very simple. So, do you know what this piece of code does? If yes, congratulations, you can write programs in Dart. I'll show you some more complex examples, and I'm sorry, a few next slides will be somewhat boring, but after that I'll show you some cool future. As I said, Dart is Dart support object-oriented concepts. It has classes, interfaces, inheritance, and even operator overloading. I know that many people think that this is maybe somewhat controversial feature, but if the language supports it, why not to use it? Yeah, that has very nice support of asynchronous programming. For those of you who know JavaScript and promises, I can say that keyword future in Dart is very similar to promise, but the Dart supports async away pattern. So you can write programs with this pattern, and the code is usually simple and easy to read. If you creating some client-side application, of course, sometimes you need to interact with JavaScript libraries. For example, there is no library in Dart who support HLS video, but there is a library in JavaScript. So, to interact with this library, you just need to create some kind of wrapper and create some reflection of Dart functions to HLS.js API. And after that, we can use all these functions like Dart native functions. Dart has a nice feature called deferred loading. If you have a big application, several, maybe 10 megabytes or more, each time where your user opens your application, it should wait when the application fully loads. In Dart, you can split your big chunk on smaller chunks, and you can initially load only a small part, which is needed to start interaction with user, for example, login page or something like that. And you can load other parts in background. So it's greatly improves your user experience. Yeah, Dart has Angular. Now, those of you who know TypeScript and has experience with TypeScript Angular can see that there is a lot of familiar things here. Dart has almost the same Angular like TypeScript. It has components, it has change detection, it has dependency injection, pipes, or so. Dart has a package manager called pub, and it's going out of the box. And there are thousands of packages there. As I said, a lot of them are maintained by Google, but of course there are community packages. And if you need, you can find anything you need. For example, as I said, Redux, SQLite plugin, cookies, or anything you want. This is a very nice feature. As I said, Dart can compile the code to JavaScript, and Dart.js compiler is aggressively optimizing code. So your compiling code is optimized, and it doesn't contain any code that you don't need. So it's called tree shaking. Let me show you some example. Do you understand what this piece of code does? Yeah? We have some kind of cube calculator, the method cube, and the function main, where we calculate a cube of 3 and print it. So, as a result of execution of this program, we will have the number 27 printed in the console. Okay. And would you like to see what code is produced by compiler after compiling this program? It's just print string 27. So compiler understands that all these calculations used only for one calculation, and it performs these calculations on compile stage. And this is very cool thing that helped our company. I will tell about it later. That has a strong code analyzer. It has a lot of rules, and if you, for example, have a team from 3 people, you can verbally agree about the code style of your application. So, for example, you can say, don't use double quotes, use single quotes or so. If you have 5 people in the team, you probably also can verbally agree. If you have 10 people, it doesn't work. And if you have 50 people, it doesn't work completely. So the analyzer allows you to set some kind of set of rules, of code style rules, that you can adjust as you need for your team, for your product, that all code will be unified. And there is about 300 rules you can choose. You can enable some rules, you can disable some rules, you can ignore some rules. And if you just enable the set of rules for analyzer for your team may just need to correct red code, and your code will be unified for. And yeah, the Wrike decided to move from JavaScript to Dart about five years ago. Then at that time we start to grow, and we understand that JavaScript doesn't allow us to scale. And we decide to use Dart. And why we decide to use Dart? Because it is simple and easy to learn. Probably you already saw the syntax. If you have experience in Java or C#, the syntax will be very familiar for you. That code is well structured and much easier to support than JS. You can argue with me, but this is my opinion, just my opinion. Strong types allow newcomers to understand the code faster. Yeah, that's a fact. And out-of-the-box code analyzer can allow you to set unified rules for code style for the big application. So all these points allowed us to grow our team in 5 to 10 times in 5 years, yeah, without loss of code quality. And this is probably all. But there is one more thing left. It's Flutter. Do you know about Flutter? No? Who knows about Flutter? Yeah, okay, but for those people who don't know about Flutter, this is Google's toolkit for building natively compiled applications for mobile, web, desktop from a single code base. So you creating one code, and you can compile it to Android, to iOS, to web application, to desktop application. Actually, web and desktop is in technical preview now, but creating applications for mobile platform are working in production level, and as I know, a lot of teams use it in production. If you create some applications in Flutter, they are compiled to the native application. For Android, it will be compiled to native Android application. For iOS, it will be compiled to native iOS application. And for Android, it will use Android Material Design. For iOS, it will use some kind of Cupertino UI. And maybe ask me, why do you talk about Flutter? Because the presentation is about Dart. I can tell you that Flutter is based on Dart completely. So the Flutter is based on Dart. Some advantages of Flutter. Flutter allows to use some code base for Android, iOS, and web applications. Web is with asterisk, just because it is in technical preview now. Flutter is fast, because it's compiling to native application, no virtual machine, it is compiled code. and it is executing very fast. Flutter has rich SDK because Flutter is based on Dart. Dart has rich SDK, and most of packages are compatible. And this is a killer feature. If you create an application in Flutter, you can change your code in the IDE and see your changes on device or your emulator just instantly. I'll show you how it works. So we have an application, we have a code. If we, for example, change the line, voila, the line is changed on the browser. We can change almost anything, font size, colors, strings, and just one key press, and it will be loaded in the device or emulator. Yeah. If we talk about some mobile development framework, many people curious, is it possible to develop games on this framework? So it's okay, material design is okay, but why about some graphics? 3D graphics, 2D graphics. Actually, there is no 3D graphics for Flutter yet, but yes, there is a good library that supports 2D graphics. Actually, this demo I created in a half hour with less than 100 lines of Dart code. And here we are 1,300 particles, and it's around 60 FPS. Yeah, but I also put asterisk here because it's going not out of the box. You should use third-party packages. Okay, and yeah. A few weeks ago, IE Spectrum issued new rating of programming languages, and according to that rating, that language is on 10th place in the most rated languages. So it's, for example, higher than Swift and higher than Kotlin. And surprise, there is no TypeScript in this rating at all. JS is on 5th place. And there is no special slide about it yet, because it happened just today, but this morning when I had my flight from St. Petersburg to Prague, I meet Alexander. Alexander. We had seats next to each other, and Alexander is a developer of Dart plugin for all JetBrains IDEs. So we had a nice talk, and Alexander told me some stats. And according to his words, there are several hundred thousand usages of Dart plugin for JetBrains right now. So several hundred thousand people at least try Dart. It's now really on hype. And this is probably all, and I can answer your questions. If we not.
Well, I think that we can do a short break.
No. If no questions, I need to take a few bit more of your time. Okay. Okay. Do you know, guys, about rule of 2? No? Who knows? What is the rule of 2? What it states?
There might be only 2 seats.
Exactly. The rule of 2 states that there might be only 2 seats in the period of time. The master who rules the Dart side and the apprentice who learn. And sometimes apprentice become strong and powerful. He just kills his master and becomes a master himself. So for now, a lot of people use Dart and Flutter, a lot of companies I know, but I believe there are only two true seeds for a moment of time. It's of course Google, who is master, who created dark, who is ruled the dark side. And the second is Wrike. Yeah, I believe that that's true because, of course, we are learning from Google, but we are learned so much. I think we had second biggest application, Dart application in the world, with more than 1 million lines of code, and we are taking our own apprentices. For example, we host a bigger community dedicated to Dart and Flutter in Russia. It contains 2,000 people. Yeah. And we would like to spread the word, and maybe we and our apprentices sometimes kill Google and becomes a master of the dark side. Of course, that was a joke. Google is so hard to kill. So this is maybe some useful link for you. I believe our guys will share presentations soon, so you can see it. And yes, thank you. If you have any question, you can catch me here in the office outside. You can drop me an email. You can ping me in the Telegram. By the way, it still works in Russia, despite of our government tries to block it permanently. No success. So thank you guys, and may the front end force be with you.